Akademiks can't ride no wave.
Let's go to Lil Durk real quick. We have a interesting update. It's not that new, but it's an update that I do think is rather not only interesting, it's pertinent. So I don't know if you guys have been to the academy.blog. I'll promo it here. But if you guys do care about, some of these cases we cover, and I know, we've kind of like chilled out off the cases a little bit, but it's about to ramp up in the next couple of months. There's a lot of interesting cases. And, not saying I'm going to be in court, but I am in the process of recruiting people that will be in court, that we can have some court reporters and people to kind of tell us what's actually happening there. There is an exclusive. And by the way, you guys can go to the academy.blog, okay? But we do have some exclusive documents to kind of review. And in this exclusive document review that you guys can find on the academy.blog, we're going to take notice of what's happening with Durk. The idea of, or the question of, is Durk cooked? That I keep hearing people ask me, yo, you think he's cooked? And I've long said, like I said, hey, listen, man, I'm going to be honest. I think Durk thought he was smarter than the average bear, right? Without y'all calling me a snitch or something like that, there's many crimes and murders in hip hop, and you guys can name some people who you think that, of course, we're not going to sit here and just, speculate or try to incriminate people, but the death of certain people, you know who behind it. You know who sent the hit. You know who gave the bag. You know who set it in motion. For the majority of those situations, those people remain uncharged. I can name you a shit ton of situations, but again, out of not trying to be seeming like I'm trying to get people indicted, I won't mention names, but the death behind so-and-so who really probably sent that hit. And most, if quick names are coming to your mind, without us even have to vet them, or I won't even look in the chat to see what you're saying, you're right. They're behind it. That's 100%. The thing is, a lot of these people, they don't have a pattern of doing this. A lot of these people haven't done a lot of these. A lot of these people have given, honestly, the government, and especially the feds, no real incentive to try to catch them. Now, a lot of times people think that crime, a lot of people think they're smarter than not only smarter than the average bear, they're smarter than the cops. It's not that. It's like the resources needed to really bust you is just not worth it. And they don't think that you're that much of a menace. Like, if you did a crime back in 2015, but you don't consistently do crime, the government, if they have to spend $1 million or $2 million to really investigate you, to arrest you for that, and it's not that big of a deal, it's not repetitive, there's not many victims, or especially if it's not violent, they might say, fuck it. Even if it is violent, they might not want to spend $3 million to surveil you, this and third, and send, undercover agents or snitches or whatever, and try to get, they might just say, fuck it. If it comes back up, it comes back up. It's a cold case. Such is the case with certain people, though. They feel like they have been so brazen, they've done it so much that they feel like, hey, listen, we have to get you out of here. I hate to have to tell you guys and be the bearer of bad news. That is the Fed's demeanor towards Lil Durk. The Fed's demeanor towards Lil Durk is that, it's not that Durk supposedly had one person touched, allegedly. And when I mean touched, the obvious implication, the kilt. They believe that Lil Durk has been paying for a lot of murders. Again, this is what they believe. I think Durk's a great musician. He's been a good guy to me. I'm just going to keep my comments there. But the feds believe otherwise. A lot of this stuff bubbled up from multiple organizations. Chicago Police Department, Atlanta Police Department, Cook County District Attorney's Office, Fulton County District Attorney's Office, LAPD. When you have multiple cases where your name is constantly mentioned, at some point, if you guys ever seen The Wire, remember they were like, yo, who the fuck is Marlo? Yeah, you ever watch? Anybody ever watch The Wire? Anybody ever watch The Wire, chat? There's a part where they said Marlo, when they start finally first hearing about him, say he's not one of those guys. Like, who's Marlo? Who is he? And some of the narcotics detectives who are on the ground are like, nah, Marlo's the guy now. Remember even when they were talking about Avon at first. Yo, who's Avon? And you get to realize how, I love The Wire because it's a real good depiction of how crime works and how society works. Not only the police department, not only the press, not only the lawyers, not only the politics, not only the educators or the system of administrators of educators, not only the junkies, the people, the crime, the hitters, the fucking drug dealers, regular humans, the squares. It shows everything. That's why I think it's one of the best encapsulating TV shows of all time. So for the feds to really put some real resources into solving a crime, they at first usually figure out there's a pattern going on. This person didn't only pay for one hit. This nigga is paying for everybody to get killed. That's how they look at things. For them to indict someone on racketeering, and this is why they usually carry charges like that. They like conspiracy charges. And yes, murder for hire is a conspiracy. Because part of conspiracy is a pattern of activity. Now, this is where Durk, at least where the feds are saying, they severely, he severely fucked up on. The feds have utilized information from several cases. The shooting with King Von in Atlanta, other unnamed and, unfounded, at least at this point, because I haven't seen the police reports, incidents in Atlanta. Chicago police, detective work, LAPD investigation into Lil Pop. And they have came up with the idea that Lil Durk has been someone who has used his financial resources to murder people. They funded an elaborate task force that, what people always say about Von when they said, well, Von died, but if Von wasn't dead, he'd be locked up. You guys are right. His name is mentioned several times in the O Block 6 documents. That indictment that was federal. But that probably should have been the warning sign to Durk. Because Durk is also hinted at but not mentioned why he was alive, and they're mentioning what he's alive and they're investigating him. So what am I trying to say? The feds heard too much reports of Durk doing fuck shit that they waited till they could nail him hook, line, and sinker. And this is why we have this particular case. Now, the current conversation I see everybody having is like, okay, is he going to be convicted? Is he cooked? I've always said, well, it depends on, this case is going to really be on the witnesses. How many people are telling on him, how important they are, what incentive they have to lie, which they all got to have incentive to lie, because if you're involved in a murder, you have an incentive to lie because you're going to get, in federal court, murder for hire is life. Or if they pursue the death penalty, but there's no death penalty option on this because they didn't elect for it. You got to do that 90 days after the charge is filed. So, is he cooked? Well, again, my opinion is depending on how many people tell on him. We're hearing wild amount of things. Well, there's mad people telling. A lot of people have flipped. I don't want to spook Durk fans here, but I do want to give you some more details that kind of showcases how much the feds have been warning Durk. I often tell you guys back in, right after Young Thug got indicted, I got a call from someone who knows a lot of these. Well, really, they knew a lot of people in Atlanta and the Atlanta DA's office. And I remember that was the time that Lil Baby was trying to play hide and go seek with all the killers he commissioned out in Atlanta. But he was trying to play hide and go seek. He's like, nah, I'm not F4PF no more. I'm like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, C, B, F. Yeah, he didn't want no more parts. And I get it. It's time to act like you're a choir boy. I get it. But I got a call, and the person said, the people who are, by the way, YFN already was indicted. But the call I got, it says, I'm going to just let you know, Durk is up next. And I was a little bit flabbergasted. I said, what the fuck has Durk been doing in Atlanta? Now, we knew a few things, but it's like, indictment? Gang indictment? He's not even from Atlanta. What that actually turned out to be was that this was mounting concerns and conversations that law enforcement was having about Durk. You know, I always told you guys, when we go to his bond hearing, Durk Vaughn hearing, there was a Chicago detective who actually testified.
Case against.
Okay. There's a Chicago detective who traveled all the way from Chicago, and they testified. They testified against Durk. Now, to you, that might be like, okay, this was a detective. You might be like, all right, but who gives a fuck? I'm going to tell you why it matters. Chicago police, they were mad they couldn't get Durk. So they were working with Atlanta cops to get Durk. So when you have cops teaming up with other cops, you know when they say, yo, who got this song that said, I got my old ops linking with new ops. Yeah, when you have cops linking with other cops, it's only so long you're gonna last. Okay? What the fuck did y'all say in the chat? Hold on. So that was a problem. But then when usually there's joint investigations and detectives from different cities are talking, that's the perfect cases for the feds who got more resources. I see y'all spamming some really crazy stuff. So I'm going to try to get through this a little bit quicker. The old ops linked with my new ops. Wait, is that in Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I think. Yeah. They don't be outside when you think they has to be on the gram. Old ops fucking with my new ops. Oh, man. Yeah. You have your ops as in the cops in Chicago, right here, going to Fulton County, trying to make sure you stay in jail for that crime. And then Fulton County going to the feds and also going over to LAPD. And the feds says, y'all don't got to link up. All y'all link up with me. Now let me tell you where this is a culmination and this is the effect of everything. So as we wait for the April trial of Lil Durk, and we're wondering who's telling, is Vonnie telling, is OTF Jam telling, Didi seems like he's solid. Who's gonna flip on Durk? We are hearing that there's maybe half a dozen cooperants. How close are they to Durk? Did they hear him say something? What could they really pin him to? That won't be revealed until trial comes. They have put a order of protection on that information. They have vaguely talked about it in documents. But we do have some new information, but it's coming out from a different case. Now, Durk isn't indicted in this case. And I want to use a name here, but I don't want to throw him under the fire. But go back, let me just go back and look at Dolph case. When you look at that Dolph case, it's really two people that they keep referring to, but they never name. We kind of figure out one of them because he dies. Big Jug. But there's somebody else they keep referring to. They never name. Remember I told you. The feds have now showed a little bit of their hand in this other separate case that Durk isn't charged in. This is not snitching or nothing, because anyone with a brain could figure out they're talking about Durk. Now, Durk isn't charged in this. And I would imagine they're not going to charge him because they already got him charged for some other shit in LA. But the fact that they're not lumping this in, I think they got Durk hook, line, and sinker. Now, remember back in Chicago, Durk's brother, D-Thing, got killed at Club O. It's a club named Club O. His brother went there, and the story goes that he was shot in the head near the entrance. Okay? Apparently, it's been abandoned. It's been abandoned. Police have not really responded, or even, they've not treated that club well after they realized violence have always been there. This is Lil Durk's brother, and hopefully hopefully we don't see any gory stuff, but Club O D-Thing. That's where Lil Durk's brother lost his life at. Okay. There's a viral video of somebody walking up to it the day after, which was, I think this is a little bit spooky. The club was closed, but you saw blood on the ground. We won't show that, but this is a club. Apparently, somewhere in between this entrance and a little bit in there, some people feel like he was around here. He got shot in the head. He died. In the following days, there was numerous shootings reported, but there was several people who died. Notoriously, one person whose name is Stephon Mack. We later saw the feds charge 2 people with his murder. One, and Anthony Montgomery, okay, who is AJ. Suppose that's his hood name. AJ from Mike City or something like that. And then Preston Powell. They both got charged. The idea that the feds, and by the way, this is not local police. Usually we know Chicago police, they can't solve nothing. They can't prove a fucking thing. And this is what I'm saying. I think Durk had to realize, bro, these cops wanted you for a long time. I think these guys get caught because the cops wanted Durk, but they still haven't charged Durk. So they charged these guys. They charge these guys, and they give us the clearest videos we've ever seen. Okay? They show the guy, his name is Stephon Mack. He's supposedly rumored to be the guy who killed or is involved with the killing of Lil Durk. He walks out of like some, supposedly some anti-violence center or some, community center. He's walking to his car. He's looking over his shoulder. Okay? He got his hand in his thing. He's looking, he's keep walking, and all of a sudden, shit goes left. They hop out the car, blasting. He starts running, and this guy right here, he's like Usain Bolt. He takes off, they murder him in the snow. Cold-blooded murder. Just to let you know, this happened. I want to show you the time on it. The timestamp is 14:59. It goes to 15, which means officially it's 3 p.m. broad daylight, Chicago. This is not O-Block, but we all know in Chirac, it's liable to go down anywhere. If you catch an op at the gas station, the church, the funeral, you catch him anywhere. The porta potty. You catch him picking up his WIC check. You catch him with his at the daycare. It gotta go down. It's Chirac. Anywhere. On camera, off camera, don't matter. Rest in peace to Stephon Mack. He lost his life on his fateful day. The videos that subsequently came out, and we realized this is where the feds are good. And we've never seen this, honestly, when it comes to like local authorities. That's what we got to wonder what the fuck they're doing. They not only had the clear 4K footage where he's coming out and people start shooting at him, they have other footages of people running from the scene. There's a guy who ran from the scene because what happens, if you guys don't know, remember the guy, right? Remember, he's running from the bullets. We have the Chirac Noah Lyles. He's chasing him with the fucking, like, what is that, Drake? Oh, he's chasing him with some fucking, cut off rifle or some shit. Or mini whatever. And, his 40 time is immaculate. But big boy right here, he's on Call of Duty thing. He's trying to cover the scene. So he shoots back on other people who are hearing shots in the establishment and walking out. Eventually, big boy realizes, okay, well, I'm not the driver. I don't know if you got the keys. Hey, let me just get out of here too in case a bunch of niggas in the spot come out and try to murder me. He hits the corner. When we look at it, we see big boy. He's running, cuts the corner, and he looks like Meek Mill cutting that corner when he just got out of prison. Except he's a little bit hefty. And, because I'm not picking on Meek Mill here, I'll make a self-deprecating joke. He got the facial expression of Meek Mill, but he actually looks like Big Ack cutting that corner with a Drake OVO McDonald's meal down the road. Let's get to it, brother. Let's get to it. Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's get to it. Let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. Now, there's a reason I'm playing all this. I promise you. Now, everybody know the fat man's plight. After about 20 seconds of running, your ass is gassed. Okay, so the sprint turns into a light jog, which turns into a walk, and probably a... We all know. Okay? Before he clears the frame, he's like, all right, man. Okay. Now, the other guy, Lil Noah Lyles over here, who's chasing Stephon Mack, okay? We're going to see him chase him. This is him right here. He's going to chase him over here. And I'm not going to lie. Probably not the best route he's ran in his life. Rest in peace. Not going to lie. Why? If someone's shooting at you, I think you want to run between cars. You want to stop. Again, I'm no expert. But running into open space that it could shoot you like a duck or like a deer, I get it. Chirac niggas don't got the best aim, but shit, don't just run in open space. Kind of run behind a house, do something, drop behind. Okay, I'm not saying it is what it is. It is what it is. Rest in peace. He eventually collapses. You're going to see here. And at that point, this guy, he's just standing up. He's, you'll realize he doesn't get past this tree line. And he walks up, he runs up. And if it was on clear. Oh, never mind. The guy's still going. Never mind. Oh, he's doing the Noah Lyles right here. If you don't realize, he eventually kills him. He's down there. Okay. Now, there's more information and more details that I must show you. And I am getting somewhere, so please just have the patience with me. me see. Where could I find the other video? Okay, it's not that one. Okay.
What it do?
Okay. Hold on. Now. Hold on now. All right. We'll just use, maybe Trench's News got it up here. I forgot he talks. He doesn't really show videos. Okay. I think we're going to have to go to our video. Like, we did this 9 months ago. So, yeah, we looked at that. And then we go to here. And then we start looking down some blocks. I know. We're extra. I'm sorry. Okay. Now, this is the important part here. It's the important part. Right here. Bingo. No, not this. Come on. Come on. Okay. Give me a second. Okay, right here. This is the important part right here. So, after here, this is important. By the way, look at me. Oh, that was a fucked up camera. Damn. Which camera I like better? That or this? Hold it. Now, this was a Ring camera. Ironic, huh? Ring. You see the Ring up there? Ironic. So, on this footage here, you're going to see this guy running up. You see him right here? On the Ring camera, not only is he captured running up, and he could be tracked from the scene as one of the shooters, he's actually captured shouting and screaming out the name of his accomplice. Yes. So imagine my name is Mike and I go to do a murder with Tyrone after we both get split up. And now we know the murder is either done or we're trying to link back up or we're getting back to the car. What are we going to do? How are we getting out of here? We don't know where each other is at. We're trying not to have our phones with us. There's a phone left in the car. They start shouting each other's names. Yes. The guy is captured on video shouting his co-defendant's name. Yeah, that's the guy with the long gun. Someone wants to read the transcript? Okay. So he's caught on camera shouting the person's name. There's in the transcript. Okay. We don't got to really get to the transcript. Okay. But here's the interesting part. And this right here, which we talked about 9 months ago, is now coming to life. But let me help explain it to you in what it means. So these guys do the murder. There's incriminating evidence already, but, it's Negroes. So they're like, I had my hoodie up. I had a face mask on. I had the shiesty on. Nobody knows it's me. Well, perfect. Your phone was in the car. Not only was your phone in the car, we have geo-tracked you here. We've seen where you went afterwards. We've tracked the car. We kind of got you already, but we want to figure out what's up. So the guy named Montgomery Wilson, and let me put up his Anthony Montgomery Wilson. Let's put him up. Let's see. Is he the fat guy or the skinny guy? Oh, he's Noah Lyles. My bad. It's Noah Lyles. Is he Noah Lyles? We got to make sure we know which one he is. Wait, which one is this? This would be the fat dude, I'm supposing, right? No, okay, so the fat dude is Preston Powell. And skinny dude, the Noah Lyles nigga who's doing this nigga is he's going crazy. Oh, Anthony Montgomery Wilson. So this is the Noah Lyles nigga. Perfect. So, chat. Part of the evidence why the feds, just chose to indict these guys rather than leave them indicted, kind of, the murder is already done, kind of leave them out there to see if maybe Durk because in their mind, they believe Durk did this, right? Leave them out there to make Durk feel like they got away with murder, that maybe Durk sent him on another drill to really get Durk. They pick these guys up because they're like, these guys are too fucking stupid. They're giving us all the evidence. What evidence? So this guy, right, after he gets picked up, right, he gets locked up in a cell and they give him a cellmate. He tells his cellmate who he murdered, how he murdered him, the homie he did the murder with, and who was supposed to pay him for the murder. Thank you. Come again. Perfect. Got him. So he confessed, essentially. So what I was showing you on my screen here, he's talking to a cellmate. Listen to how he's talking to his cellmate, chat. Look, this is how he was talking to his cellmate. Listen to this. Yeah, I had the standard, folk, with a 60 round in that bitch on mic. I let 3 shots out when he first came out. Marley said, yo, wait till he get to the car. I said, yo ass tweaking, boy. By the time he get to the car, that's enough time for him to get his pipe. Yo, so now the cellmate, who's a confidential source, is saying, tell me more. He said, scratch off anything. So he said, yo, bro, man, yo, I woo. As soon as he makes it halfway between our car and his car, yo, bro, I just pop out like John Wick. Bow, 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 bow. He was already on the car when he first came out the door. What does that mean? He was looking at the car. Matches with the video. The nigga did look at the car a couple times. So the cellmate said, what? He was on your car? How? Yeah, he was on our car when he first came out the door. Yo, he looked like we behind the tents, though. We behind the tents. Like, we behind the tents. But chat, this, I ain't gonna lie, this is cooler at its finest. Look. They tells man there's armed security. An armed security guard. I'm cool. On mic. I tell Marley, nigga, you ain't got my, it said what? It said, you ain't got to do shit, my nigga. Just keep that security guard off us? Nigga, on my dead niece. Yo, you don't got to do shit, nigga. Just make sure that security guard stay in its place. So the guy who ran after him, he told the other guy the job. Your job is to keep the security guard that we know is in there off of me while I'm murdering him. Keep an eye on the security, nigga. Yo, we pulled up on Mike, man. We waited right there like 20 minutes. Like, nigga, I'm on FaceTime with Lil what? Office, nigga. Okay, damn. I'm like a great streamer, huh? Look, I was reading it just like that before. With Lil who? Who are they on? Okay, I'm on FaceTime with Lil something. Is that Fred? And they said, keep us on FaceTime. I want to hear the shots. I want to hear this shit. Man, the nigga ain't even supposed to make it that far, nigga. So I guess he's describing to something like, man, that nigga was supposed to run that far, man. We supposed to murder that nigga. Only reason he made that far, folk, is because I had that big-ass gun. And I couldn't really, like, hawk him down like that, you know? I really don't want to be trying to shoot no nigga from no distance. I missed to walk him down. Congratulations, you fucking idiot. This is now in your paperwork. So, his statements to his cellmate is being used against him. Chat.
I've seen him do it.
Yo, chat.
I've seen him do it.
Chat.
I've seen him do it.
Yo, chat.
I've seen him do it.
What? Yo, chat.
Man, I fell down to my knees when the law came.
Now, that's what we knew back then. This was 9 months ago I did this video. I want to show you. I did this video 9 months ago. Okay? 9 months ago. Well, every good story needs a sequel, and every good movie needs a sequel. Here's the new information that we've now found out. So in August 2025, a few things happen. And this is where we go back to the academy.blog. Because it tells us a lot more about Durk. And it tells us what they think about Durk. Okay? Wait, why can't I, wait, hold on, what? Am I not logged in to my own site? Okay, let me log in real quick. Damn, I got to log into my own site, man. Man, I fell onto my knees when the law came. All right. Here we go. My bad, chat. My bad. Okay, here we go. I apologize. Wait, is it not happening? Okay, here we go. Perfect. So let me read the headline. It's an exclusive. The government reveals in paperwork of one of what they claim is Durk's shooters, he accidentally snitched on not only Durk, but he snitched on the other nigga he went on a drill with. How? He's locked up and he wants to tell niggas how much he's a killer. So he tells his cellmate how he killed the two niggas, or killed the one nigga. And his cellmate is a confidential source. What does that mean? Either the cellmate offered the information he told him for a lighter sentence, or the cellmate was already a source working with the government and was probably, you know, when they arrest someone, they put him as the new guy in your cell to see if you're going to run your mouth. Regardless, even if he wasn't working with the feds prior, based on the details and how detailed AJ Montgomery was with his depiction of the murder, it matched it to a very T. The other guy is trying to keep the security guard off. He was trying to kill the guy before he gets to his car. He knew where the guy's car was. He knew where it was coming out. He says when the guy comes out, he's already on the car. He's looking. He says, I shouldn't have to chase him that far. I was supposed to already kill him, but I was using a long gun. Everything he said to the damn cellmate matched the description. So what happens is two things, okay? First and foremost, back in April, no, not April. First and foremost, back in August 15, 2025, there was a decision made by the courts. So the judge actually sided with the fat dude, Preston Powell. I got to make sure you guys can see. So this is skinny dude, and where's the fat dude? This is the fat dude, right? So remember, he's supposed to keep the security guards off, and this is the Noah Lyles nigga who's chasing him down. He basically admits that I'm the guy who's telling people what to do, right? Now, they do a motion, and here's the thing. Because this case, right, this case is, and I got to show you what they're charged with, right? Anthony Montgomery. They're charged in murder for hire, okay? Now, I've explained what murder for hire is. It carries the same penalties, if not stricter, as just flat-out murder. There's not necessarily a degree to murder for hire, even though there is certain variations of it. It's the only thing that usually matters is if the person dies or if they didn't die. If the person dies, you'll never get out of jail, no matter what. If the person didn't die, there is some wiggle room. If the person died, you also could get sentenced to death. Very different from murder that has several degrees. Very different from manslaughter, which is a particular part of homicide that you could probably get out in 15 years. This shit is more ironclad. Why? It lays out a conspiracy, and that's what it is. Murder for hire is cousins of a RICO because both, in its very essence, is a conspiracy. So the conspiracy is that y'all got hired for this plot to commit murder. Now, a lot of people were thinking Durk was going to be added to this case. Why? If you're getting arrested for murder for hire, both of these guys, who did the hiring? Now, the government consistently mentions who does the hiring, doesn't charge him. Let's see if the government just didn't know who, or maybe they did know who, but either they didn't charge him because they had another case, or maybe they're still holding this later, that maybe if Durk beats that first case, they'll charge him with this. And that's the thing here, people. You see, the feds, I think they've sunk their teeth into Durk, and they want something. They're clearly outlining that they feel he's been involved in other crimes, even if they didn't charge him. And I would imagine if they feel he's going to beat this case, they will link up and offer deals to these other guys and ancillary people for this other unrelated case he's not charged with to get him there. I think they want at least 15 or 20 years out of Durk's life. And for the Durk fans, that is not good. I'm going to be honest. They seem to have some incentive. Okay? And this is not like a YoungBoy situation. Let me give a little parallel to YoungBoy. I think the feds were salty that YoungBoy beat the gun charge. He then gets pretty much a favorable, really favorable plea when it comes to a global plea that solved his gun case and also resolved his drug case. Okay? When the feds get embarrassed like that, they're going to still watch you and wait for you to fuck up. The thing is, with YB, Trump pardoned him. And when Trump pardons you, not only is the DOJ going to fall back, but everything they may have had against you, it feels like they have to start over again because you're pardoned. They can't use those prior things against you. So you have it's like a new life, damn near almost. And I think that's why the feds haven't tried to bust him for some other shit again, if you ask me. But again, Durk is a different case. I haven't seen someone get pardoned for a particular murder for hire, right? Anyway. So here's the new details. So back on August 15th, Preston Powell, the fat nigga, makes a motion to the court like how OTF Didi is making a motion in the California federal court with actual Durk in that case. Now, it's for two different reasons. Didi is trying to make a motion for severing, and that's the motion, which means I know you're trying to say we're all co-conspirators, but the proof isn't there of us being co-conspirators. I want to have my case without a co-defendant. Now, let me just Durk's case and why that's been done. I think Durk wants Didi severed too, and Didi wants to be severed. Why? If you take Didi out of Didi as a separate case, the case that the government has will look fractured, and that fractured case will most likely look to a juror that the government is making a leap in trying to assume that Durk is connected to these guys dying. Why? Most of the government's case is really hinged on Durk not communicating with the shooters, but communicating with the middleman, which they believe is Didi. So if Durk and Didi ain't co-defendants and they can't use Durk against Didi or Didi against Durk, it helps both Durk and Didi. Now, granted, I don't think they're going to be severed. However, in the case of this fat nigga, Preston, and Noah Lyles, a.k.a. Anthony Montgomery, AJ from Mike City, they did sever the cases. I'm going to tell you why. So on August 15th, 2025, it is ruled by the judge, okay, that according to the federal rule of criminal procedure, it is unfair and prejudice to the fat dude to allow him to be tried jointly with a co-defendant without the opportunity to cross-examine him, okay? Essentially, without getting into the technical things here, the judge says if a lot of the the Fed's case is using the loose mouth Noah Lyles skinny niggas talking to the jail cell, his jail cellmate about the nigga he went on a drill with, is going to severely bias how the jury is going to see the fat dude. Does that make sense? If they're using basically, it's not a confession because, there's no signed document. Maybe he's just talking shit, even though all this talking shit seems mad close to what happened. If they want to use that against him, and they are going to use it against the skinny dude, but because it implicates the fat dude, it doesn't make it fair that he has no control over it, and that the skinny dude who was running his mouth, whether he was telling the truth or not, he said things that implicates him. So because of that, the fat dude would have been disadvantaged, so they severed the case. What does that mean? Fat nigga is going to have his own case of murder for hire. Skinny Noah Lyles nigga is going to have his own case. All right. Now I get to that to kind of get to some new stuff, which is a little bit, this is really the interesting stuff. Now, the government put a lot of stuff in, they're still going through motions of trying to admit. So the government is still trying to admit all of the conversation that the skinny dude had with the cellmate, because it's pretty much a confession. Now, in that admission, here we go. It says a little bit more. So the government is saying, we seek to admit these. Now, here's the thing. The whole thing is going to be admitted. Now that they severed the case, the whole thing is going to be admitted against Montgomery. But they're pushing forward to admit some of them against Powell. So remember, they're saying if the whole thing, there's a whole conversation like, oh, no, you can't admit the whole thing. They're like, maybe if you could redact the name, but they're going to know they're talking about him. He's the only co-defendant. So now the government is trying to get these new excerpts. He said, we're not trying to use everything against the fat dude because we get it. He wasn't locked up. He didn't talk. But there are certain things that maybe we could use. What are they? This is going to give us some information. Excerpt 1. Montgomery, skinny dude, explained to this jail cell mate that the bounty for killing Youngin, which was Stephon Mack's name, was 70 grand. So that's some new information. They're saying somebody put up $70,000 for the death of Stephon Mack. And that Montgomery Wilson, skinny dude, tried to get the amount increased to 90 grand. This is what was said. And we got to imagine this is not someone who just volunteered information, because we actually have, this looks like, it got to be audio because we have the guy saying it. It's not like the confidential source is saying, oh, no, that's what he told me. This sounds like the dude was wearing a wire in the cell. So it says, next thing you know, that's a dub. Man, reminds me when we were having that conversation, shorty. Ken told me shit, yo, he a 70 ball. So they were talking about, some nigga named Ken told him that Stephon Mack was a 70,000 was on his head. I said, shit, he a 70 ball right now? So you know what I'm saying? He said, man, I'm trying to get him to go to a 90 ball though. So we trying to get 90 out of them for this shit. And the CS, the jailmate guy says, wait, for a motherfucker. He said, for Youngin, which Youngin means Stephon Mack. Here's the second excerpt. Saying this excerpt, the skinny dude is explaining to his jail cell guy, or his cellmate, that although individual A, and that's important, contributed 50 grand for the bounty, they only collected a portion of those funds. Now, this is where the obvious and where feds have, consistently pretty much pointed the elbow at Durk. They're saying individual A is. And say, yo, look, Jam. Yo, this is what Jam told Didi. Oh, that's, ooh. Wait, you're not talking about OTF Jam, is he? He said, look, Jam, this is what Jam told. If it says Jam told Didi, ooh. Now, what they're doing again, they're putting Didi again as the middleman. It says, I mean, he told Bondo, like Bug, he say, man, so-and-so gave up 50. Shorty. He only paid me a dub. So that's 30 missing. Wait, hold up, man. Yo, some of this shit is like unbelievable. Don't somebody got a lyric that says, pay me a dub, walk inside the club? What song is that? It says something pay me. It says something the dub to walk inside the club. Back in Blood? Oh nah. Oh my God. Killed your mans, you keep on talking, better get that shit in Blood. Give my shorty and them a dub, and they gonna walk inside the club. Hit his ass with that switch. I bet that shit switch up his nerve. Fuck the ops inside. Yo, this is crazy, Chad. Give my shorty and them a dub, and the niggas in jail saying, yo, he only paid me a dub. So the guy is saying he only got paid $20,000. By the way, you could tell they're going to use that against the lyrics, right? They're going to use it against the lyrics. They're going to say, yo. By the way, when was Back in Blood dropped? Oh, that was before the murder, though. Wasn't it? When did D-Thing die? Yeah, D-Thing died after, right? When did D-Thing die? Yeah, D-Thing died after. So it died after that song. But you could imagine the feds are trying to probably say, hey, this is a pattern of how Schmirk was acting. He would give somebody 20 grand. That was his rate. He even rapped about it. Right? I give my shorty and them a dub. They're going to walk inside the club. You know? Hit his little ass with that switch. Bet that switch up his nerve. And then the third excerpt is that when he explained to CS, to the cellmate, that he received approximately $40,000 for killing Mack. So now they say CHS, it says, so altogether you got 35? And this chatterbox over here says 35 and then another 5 from JD and them, which they supposed to give me 100, shorty. They really owe me 100. If Dame was here, man, Dame would say this is some chatty patty shit, man. You're spelling out the murder and the payments to your cellmate. This is crazy. This is crazy. Okay. It said these are 3 limited exceptions. And usually when the government goes in like this is because they're saying, you know, we're not going to just broadly use stuff. We want to use really directed stuff. So the statements were clearly against his own interest. So they're saying that these statements don't help because, you know, the Preston Powell, the fat dude, his lawyer's going to be like, yo, bro, that nigga's locked up. He'll say anything. What the fuck? What does that got to do with me? Remember the cases are severed. Now, the government's going to say, well, this guy was saying stuff against himself. That's how you know he was telling the truth, right? Now, beyond that, here we go. So they're saying that it's going to help with motive, this and third. Now, this is important. They said, moreover, skinny niggas' statements about committing murder to collect a payment from individual A and his associates are supported by corroborating circumstances that clearly indicate its trustworthiness after considering the totality of circumstances under which was made and the evidence that supports or undermines it. First of all, Wilson's, that's Didi, text messages with Powell about collecting payment from individual A. Oh my God. So it looked like they texted on that day about payment. And also Montgomery's presence at individuals A's podcast in Chicago on February 22nd, 2022. And then the Facebook story that was uploaded to his Facebook account depicting them counting money while individuals A song played in the background. So they're basically saying they got proof that the money was paid because that's part of it. Murder for hire. Where was the funds? That's why in Durk's case now with the Lil Pob, they're trying to say that money does not only mean currency and cash. It means maybe a feature. It means a opportunity for your career. And those things are basically transactional, which basically is money. It's currency. Here's the irony about it. When you go to YouTube, they said Lil Durk did a podcast in Chicago, February 2022. The only podcast that matches is $1 million worth of game. From the title alone, it already spells bad because Lil Durk brought $1 million in cash and the money is laid out here. When you click on the podcast was published March 10th, 2022. And I don't know if there's any other visual things that let it be known that it was recorded on that day. But what also is added is that the 3 excerpt, listen, they're saying the motive for killing him, blah, blah, hold on. So the government bears the burden of proving the for hire element. And they want the jury to understand how the text message is important. It says they'll show individual A put out a bounty for his murder, which they admitted to being the motivating factor for the murder. At the trial, the government will use 3 limited excerpts to establish the for hire part. And and here we go again. As discussed above, they first told him the killing was going to be for $70K. They try to get it to $90K. Then they're saying individual A contributed $50K. And then they're saying here's another thing. So this is between Powell and Montgomery. What's up with OTF? Wilson says nothing. Powell, fat nigga, he says, what you mean? They're not paying? Montgomery says, we waiting until he come here on the 17th. Keep in mind, according to the feds, the podcast was on the 17th. So the idea that the feds have in that case is that Lil Durk showed up with $1 million to the trenches, not only to show on camera for an interview with Gillian Wallow, but for the murderers that did murder for him. Yo, here's your payment. Here's your payment. Here's your payment. Thank you for killing that nigga. That's what they're alleging. Spooky. Very spooky. On February 17th, they were in Chicago conducting an interview. That day, they're saying Montgomery Wilson attended. That's interesting. If you ever watch this podcast, there's a lot of individuals in the background. A lot. A lot. A lot. There is a picture, I'm just to try to save time here. There's a picture the feds use. There's a picture that they show that he was there. Or it might be on Reddit. Let me see. I don't want to go through like the other paperwork. They have a picture in the documents. I just don't have the other documents. I don't want to waste your time. Let me put Durk. Probably got to put Reddit or something. I think Reddit has it. Here we go. So Anthony Montgomery was at the, if you guys don't know, while the podcast was shot, there was a couple things that was shot too. Aha was shot the same time when he's in Chicago, right? Let me see if I can find a behind the scenes of Aha. BTS Aha. Behind the scenes, I'm trying to see. Here we go. Okay. Oh no. What the fuck? Okay. I mean, we could just play the actual, video on mute. But it's supposedly shot in the same place. Again, you can see the chandelier. You go to the podcast episode, you'll eventually, at some point, see the chandelier. When they and they start out with Gilly's so funny. They start out with listening to King Von and Durk back again. But you'll see, you see the same same clothing right here, same thing. So they're saying the same time they did the podcast, they did the music video. And they're saying all the people in the podcast are in the music video. So this is why when they know this, they're saying the guy was there. The feds are taking it to say this nigga came to pick up the cash. He came to pick up the cash for the murder. So they're saying he attended, and that day, fat dude texted skinny dude say, yo, stand on that. Why you with so-and-so and them? Following day, fat nigga texted so-and-so, did that nigga give you the bread? Without the context of his recorded statements, the jury will lack the context. So they're saying, based on how the guy explained the story to the cellmate, it's the context of some of these text messages. Okay? Montgomery's incriminating statement relating to the receipt and attempted receipt of funds does not prejudice him. Okay, cool. Wow. You know what the craziest part of this is, chat? I want to show you the craziest part of this entire thing. Where is it at? Show transcript. There's a part of the podcast. There's a part of the podcast that Wallow gets emotional while talking to Durk about the death, okay, of his brother. And he's passionately trying to tell Durk to let it go. And that's the only way he'll be able to free himself. The obvious irony is that he was given an amazing message according to the feds. Well, not the feds saying that it was. Well, he was given an amazing message, but according to the feds, the get back was already done. The money on the table wasn't there for show. It was to pay for the deed being done. Which that's the eerie irony of it all. So Wallow is passionately trying to tell him like, yo, I know what it's like to lose a brother. Gotta let this go. And Durk is sitting there already. And it's eerie because Durk is like, nah, I could let it go now. That nigga dead. Allegedly, that's what the feds are saying. But listen.
Because I'm telling you, man, I can name 20, 30 niggas and my homies is dead. I'm here, though. And I'm going to say some shit that, like, this is documented. You know, I got a TED Talk. I forgave my brother's killer. And I'm saying it to say this. Nigga that killed my brother. My brother died in my grandma's arms. In that fucking house that we grew up in. Nigga shot my brother. He ran to the house. He died in Nanny Arms when she opened the door.
Whole time, by the way, there's a D thing chain here. Whole time Smirk is like, the Smirk probably think, man, I don't got them problems, man. That nigga would kill my brother dead as fuck right now. Like, what the hell? Yo, Smirk a different nigga, bro.
So I'm telling you, there's some real shit, man. If I ain't...
It's eerie that the feds are accusing, and I wonder if Gillian Wallow sensed that. Not saying Durk did nothing, but the feds are saying that even while this convo is happening, and Wallow is begging Durk to let it go, Durk is so much past that point because he's at the point where the money on the table is partially for the niggas who did the get back. Holy shit, man.
I got a TED Talk. I forgave my brother's killer. And I'm saying it to say this. Nigga that killed my brother. My brother died in my grandma's arms. In that fucking house that we grew up in. Nigga shot my brother. He ran to the house. He died in Nanny Arms when she opened the door. So I'm telling you, there's some real shit, man. If I ain't let that shit go, I won't be right here today. I won't be here for my niece and my nephews. Me and Gil won't be doing this. Y'all won't know me. I won't be able to give y'all this game. But I had to leave. I had to let that shit go. And when I let that shit go, nigga, I started to grow. And I started to glow. And now I'm here today, and it was harder than a motherfucker, man. And I'm talking about this my big brother, nigga. I shared the cell with him. I shared the bed with him when we was fucking kids. This little Steve. But I can tell you one thing. Now I'm out here taking care of his daughter, paying for her to go to school, taking care of my nephew, taking care of my mama and my grandmama.
Talk to him. Sure.
Because I forgave my brother killer, but you know, I understand. I understand what y'all going through. But I love all you young niggas in here. And I mean that shit. I love you niggas, man. And I hope y'all make it out. I hope y'all make it the fuck out, man.
Man, he like...
Straight up, man.
It's so crazy. This motherfucker really dropping tears for this shit. Like,
this was always an interesting response to me with Durk. Because I think Wallow tried his best to connect to Durk. But the problem here is Durk got a bunch of killers behind him. And Durk can't tap into that. It's the same thing with Thug. They both couldn't tap into that emotional side that'd be like, yo, Wallow, I hear you, but this shit is fucking me up, my nigga. It's fucking me up that I don't got my brother. Like he couldn't even do that. So you see how Smirk responded. He's like, he kind of looked back at his niggas and he's like, man, this nigga dropping tears in here. You know, rather than actually be vulnerable enough to kind of like lean into that moment, he got to remember, he got stone cold killers behind him.
Paying for her to go to school, taking care of my nephew, taking care of my mama and my grandmama.
talk to him. Sure.
Because I forgave my brother killer, but you know, I understand. I understand what y'all going through. But I love all you young niggas in here. And I mean that shit. I love you niggas, man. And I hope y'all make it out. I hope y'all make it the fuck out, man.
Man, he like...
Straight up, man.
It's so crazy. This motherfucker really dropping tears for this shit. Like, shit for real. Like,
I love being around the young niggas because, like, you don't understand. Y'all niggas got so much life. And y'all probably don't understand because y'all young. But this system and the way this structure is so scared of y'all because they saying if these niggas ever turn that light cut on in their head, we in trouble because they the most fearless motherfuckers that ever walked the planet Earth. These young black brothers in the ghetto don't fear nothing. So when you switch that shit and you do an energy transfer, oh, it's over. Y'all nigga ever wake up, it's over, man. Watch. I'm telling you, niggas gonna wake up. It's gonna happen.
and see for Wallow, right? he always talked to me and he like, cuz you just don't understand how many young niggas I used to see come through that motherfucking jail, man. Young niggas who was just full of life, just now them niggas in there facing that motherfucking homicide, and now them niggas they be done. Them niggas just all of life done left them niggas. Them niggas come from that courtroom. Them niggas done got that 111 years.
This is one of the most spookiest things in terms of a podcast, one of the most spookiest things ever, bro.
Niggas be done, cuz, you know what I'm saying? So that's why we base our whole platform around the young niggas. We don't give a fuck. You know, if we get an old nigga, it's because he a legend. And he got game to give, which has got his attention, motivation, and education. But our platform is the only platform that's based around the young.
Yeah.
You went viral when you broke into tears telling Lil Durk not to retaliate in King Von's death.
You know, it was so emotional because Durk, he said, I need you to come here, right? He said, we could do it in Miami, whatever, but I need you to come here because I need you to talk to these. That's what he told me. Mm-hmm. He said, I need you to talk to him, Wallow. I need you to talk to him. I said, all right, I got him. And when I get there, I didn't know it was going to be that many. It was like 100 of them. We in the basement in Chicago. It's 100 of them.
And them niggas, they ready to ride?
Yeah, no,
they're killers.
Was there, you know.
Okay, they want to hear what you wanted to say.
No, it wasn't even that. They didn't even know why they was there. Durk is like, we gonna do it in the hood.
Okay.
I want you to holler at them, boom, boom, boom. So I'm like, I got you. When I got there, I'm like, he like, man, listen, I need you to holler at him. It just so happened that when I'm talking to him, I understand, because I'm talking to a couple of them on the side, and I understand that nothing is more important in the ghetto than revenge. Revenge is king.
Yes.
Closest thing to God. Because the black man is willing to die about his ego. The ego killed more black men than any other disease. Nothing killed black men more than the ego. That ego of, you hit me, Shannon, people saw that I can't let you go. You got to die about this shit. And my mama raised me, so I grew up soft. I ain't had no structure of no father there, so I'm just emotional. So when I'm in there, I'm telling them, it was emotional for me because I'm letting them know, the man that killed my brother, I forgave him. Am I a coward? Am I a punk? Well, I don't know what that shit mean. But I knew that forgiving him mean that I was willing to live for my brother in an environment where we celebrate dying for somebody. I said, no, I'm going to live for my brother, my grandma, my brother, kids, my mama. I'm going to live for them because don't nobody talk about that. But I know that, I'm going to just be straight up. I know that I'm not built to die right now because I know it's more things that I got to do, and I know I got a responsibility. That was my older brother. You think what I'm saying? So It's like, I got to step up. I'm like, no, I'm not coming back. She said, I need you to take me here. I ain't built like that to see nobody else go out like that. I always said, you special. That's not cool. That's not tough. So all that stuff right there is a real big program.
You ain't gonna lie. Yeah. Remember around that time, Durk had told me, like, yo, I'm gonna do an interview with you. And then I know y'all wanted me to be mad at him. Y'all were kind of mad at him because, like, he went and did an interview with Gillian Wallow, and I was like, yo, they did that shit in the trenches of Chicago. Yo, thank God Durk ain't bring me around them niggas. Thank God. Bruh, first, I wouldn't go to Chicago. Second of all, yeah, that's $1 million worth of game interview. You know what me and Durk did our interview at? So they did it in some, like, trenches of some random basement in the hood with 5,000 killers. Like, the amount of bodies them niggas have in that room is probably like, it's like 5,000, right? You know what me and Durk had our interview? The Waldorf. It was a $2,000 a night hotel, my nigga. Top floor. Like, I booked it. They told me what to book. I booked it. We set it up, super luxury, Beverly Hills. Durk comes in, stylist, manager, security, and one homeboy. That's it. Comes in like damn near basketball shorts. Like, yo, where's the bathroom? And I'm about to change. That's it. I'm telling you, Durk respected me. He know not to put me around all these murderers. What the fuck? Don't put me around the murderers. What the hell? Leave that for Gillian Wallow, respectfully. All right. Let's keep it going. So that's pretty much it. The idea is that the guy yapped to his cellmates. We're figuring out money. They're saying that it was $70K on the dude's head who killed supposedly D-Thing. They wanted to be 100. They initially we're told that 50K was coming from individual A. Then they're saying that they collected like 35. It's really convoluted. Obviously, they got picked up before. Okay. All right. Let's get to some other stuff. Let's try to get through the next topic like pretty quickly, right? Whatever that is.